60% of all Protestant churches in the U.S. have less than 100 adults attending. There are 400,000 churches in the United States with an average size of 100. So if you are leading a small church, you've got a lot of company. And my counsel is, don't try to compete with the big churches. You really can't compete in terms of music, programs, and facilities. But instead, play to your relational strengths, that face-to-face fellowship. It's sort of like the difference between the galleons of the Spanish Armada that invaded England versus the small ships of the English fleet that were quick and maneuverable. Each type of ship had its own strengths and weaknesses, and so we who are involved with smaller churches need to play to our relational strengths. And our premise then is that smaller churches have a strategic and even a divinely designed size advantage. Closeness, intimacy, refreshing simplicity. You don't have to layer on complexity. Ease of multiplication. New churches grow faster than smaller ones. The one another ministry opportunities. Face-to-face fellowship. It puts teeth into church discipline in a smaller setting that's family-like. The Lord's Supper, celebrated as a weekly agape love feast, is more meaningful in a smaller setting. When I was in seminary, I was involved with a church with 14,000 members. It was a blessing to be there. On a Wednesday night, I'd go to the fellowship suppers, and I would come out of the serving line, and it appeared to be acres of table, one after another, going off into the horizon. Well, I really had to hunt to find somebody I knew. Well, let me just say that church meals are not to be like that. Shouldn't be like going to a commercial cafeteria where you don't know anybody. Another advantage of a smaller church is that participatory worship is meaningful. We've got another talk on the New Testament strategy of having participatory worship where any church member could speak in the meeting. Another advantage of small churches is that congregational consensus is truly achievable when you know everybody and you love everybody enough to work through your differences to come to consensus. There's also much less bureaucracy and management trouble, as we will see later as we study the rule of 150. So what's the point? The point is that every New Testament letter written to a church was written to a church that met in someone's home, and that the function of a New Testament church is best carried out by the form of the New Testament church. The activities described in the New Testament work better in a smaller setting because they were designed for smaller settings. So we're looking at small size as an ancient church strategy given by Jesus to the early church for effective ministry.